What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Journey to the Hump podcast. What it is, what it do. Hope everybody's had a good week. We got a lot of good stories to tell for you guys today. We got a lot of good story. Yeah, a lot of stories to tell between me and Mark at this particular point. So let's introduce the co-host of the Journey to the Hump podcast, Mr. Mark Newman. What's going on, my friend?
What's going on, buddy? How you doing, man?
Man, I'm living the dream, man. So between you and I, we've had a pretty interesting week now, haven't we?
Yes. Oh, yeah, for sure. You've had a lot of excitement. You know, it's been a fun. Yeah, no, it's been a good time for the last month. You know,
it's turkey season. It's spring turkey season. So we decided that we're going to talk about some turkeys. We're going to talk about what got us out there, and Mark and I have had a pretty successful couple weeks here in the spring turkey woods. So let's let them have it, man.
Yeah, a lot of ups and downs, man. Mine actually started on a low note, really, which, you know, the first actual hunt I got out, I took my son over to Kentucky on a youth hunt, and you know, we're working a bird, which this is the lease we got in Kentucky. It's not a lot of land. It's a pretty small lease, but it's a pretty good location, and we were set up. You know, at daylight, it's really quiet. I'm starting to be concerned. I'm wondering, man, is there even a bird on this property? And come to find out, you know, about 8:30, 9 o'clock, they start gobbling everywhere, man. You had like 3 birds going, you know, and I'm thinking, boy, my boy's going to get to shoot a bird. This is awesome. Excited, you know. And we're working, you know, I'm working a bird, and I could tell he's getting closer. Well, then I start hearing a hen call, and it was just too perfect. And
right,
yeah,
that's scary. That's a little scary when you hear the too perfect of a call, right?
Yeah, it was just too perfect of a hen call, man. I thought, damn, and you could tell that they were coming from one direction, headed towards the gobbler, and the gobbler's coming, and they pretty much got between us. Which I'm not, you know, it was the neighbor. He actually. I guess it's his son or his grandson actually harvested the bird. So, I mean, you know, it was great to see a young kid get it. But, you know, I was hoping to see my son get his first bird, but that's turkey hunting. So that's how the season started over there. So then the next time I get over there is opening weekend for adult in Kentucky. And this was a low blow, man. I get out there early, you know, we get out there early, and you got a picture. It's, you know, I call it a mountain. People out west will laugh at me, but to me, this is a mountain, man. I'm telling you.
I can already picture it, dude. I can already picture the Western guys looking at us going, "You call that a mountain?" You know,
right? Yeah. No, it was a mountain, man. I'm telling you. It went, you know, within, I'd say, just on the long side, maybe 100 yards, went 300 feet in elevation. You know what I'm saying? Like it was. That's a hill. It's a hill, but it's straight. I mean, it's you could ski. It's, you know, it would vertical. Definitely be. Yeah, it's steep, you know, and it was work. You know, we carried all the gear up there. We get set up. You know, I actually had my cousin come with me. You know, I get to the thing, and you know, I'm not making excuses because I got, you know, I've been lucky. I got some great equipment to use. You know, it's
so you run decoys. So is that what you're saying? Is that you're running decoys and everything?
Oh yeah. So I set out a few decoys. You know, we were actually hunting out of a ground blind this morning, and it was like I said, I got good equipment. You know, I'm at the truck that morning. You know, and last year I shot through a bird with my bow, and I was pretty upset about it. And this year I was like, I'm gonna take one with my gun, which I've killed birds with a bow before. And, you know, I was wanting to harvest one with my bow again this year. And
well, I mean, dude, it's pretty difficult to shoot one with a bow, as I've already been through before. My first attempt at shooting a turkey was with a bow, and same setup. I was in a blind. I was in an open field. We got in the right location, called in the right birds. We had everything moving for us, and drew back the bow, let it rip, 42 yards, swat, thought hit it, didn't hit it clean. And I watched that thing run out of my life, ran back into the woods, came back out the woods. I thought maybe it was just going to take a minute for him to drop. Continue to watch him run around the field. 30 minutes went by, 45 minutes went by, hour went by. There's things running around, chasing hens. You know, I'm like, you got to be
extremely tough.
kidding me.
Oh, it's crazy how tough these birds are, man. It really is.
My last few attempts, which I'll get into later on about my this last hunt, but I am shotgun through and through. There's going to be times where I am set up in a blind and what have you, and I'm going to take the bow with me just to be able to have, because there will be that opportunity. But when it comes to turkey hunting, we are bow second, shotgun first, and we are not playing around. You know, it's just there's too many variables with the bow. It's enjoyable, but the vitals are just too small, and when they swell up, when they blow up.
I ain't trying to cut you off, but if I will harvest a turkey again with a bow. And when I do, though, I'm going to take the time. I'm going to set the arrows up right, get the right fletching, get the arrows set up, and I'm going to dial in, and I'm head shooting them. That's the only way I'm going to shoot a turkey from here on out. I've heard of guys, and I'd like the listeners to give us some input on this, because this is an interesting topic to me. I've heard guys say shoot them in the legs, shoot them through the legs. I've heard guys say, it sounds crazy, but
there's a lot of variables.
Yeah, there really is. So I get to the top of this mountain, and I'm gonna keep going about it. It's a hill to other people, but it felt like a mountain when I got to the top of it. I'm telling you.
Call it what it is, man. It's all right.
And it's like one of the big Appalachian mountains in the Ohio River Valley is what it the way I look at it. So so go ahead.
You get yourself up to the top. No, I mean, well, we want to hear the pinnacle, but I kind of know this. So you got yourself up to the quote unquote air quote mountain out in Kentucky. You got your equipment all set up. You got your blind all set up, and it sounds like it's about to be, go down. We all kind of saw you post about it. So we do kind of know what happened, and big shout out for your birthday wishes too at that particular time, so, but yeah, shooting with the bow and the shotguns is two different ball games, and you have to go into it with the mindset. It's a mindset. I
appreciate. Oh, definitely. It it came down to I shoot this turkey. Everything's perfect. I'm sitting there, and actually we're sitting there for a while, and it gets to about 10 o'clock. Let me run this all back again. I'm kind of getting a little distracted here, but I'm at the truck that morning, and I got my shotgun and my bow, both. And I'm trying to decide which one, I'm like, last minute thing. My cousin's with me, he's going to bring his shotgun. So I grabbed the bow. All right. I've made my mind up. I'm committed now. Like I said, I get to the top of the hill. We set everything up. We're sitting there. I'm calling, keep calling, and nothing, no gobbles, nothing. So, about 10 o'clock, it come down to it, I had to take a piss. So I had to get out blind, man, So I get out to take a piss, and then I go to look over the edge because it's a straight, you can't see, So I go to look over the edge. I hit that call a few times. Bam, here he comes. He walks right out on the gas line. I'm thinking, are you kidding me? So I'm looking like down, and he's not really looking up. He's kind of, his vision's, he's not picking it up. So I just kind of ease back and step back, get in the blind, and I'm talking to my cousin. I'm like, we got one coming, man. Let's go. Getting all excited. You know how that feeling is. Well, about 45 minutes go by. No gobble. I'm calling this bird. I'm thinking, man, he ain't coming. he must have seen me or something. You know how good they see, So I think his bird.
Yeah, well, you were exposed, so there's always that variable.
Oh yeah, nah. I thought he ain't coming. So my cousin, we're trying to get a game plan. I thought, well, it was thick woods behind us. I said, why don't you cut through the woods and down the gas line below where he's at and see, what I'm saying? Maybe one of us will get a shot, So he cuts out of the blind, goes down, about 15 minutes later, he's still in the woods trying to get down the gas line. Here it comes, big bird. It was as nice as, it was nice like that bird you shot. Nice. It was a big, mature.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful bird, man. And he's sitting up there, strutting, sees the decoys, which I had a little Jake decoy and a hen decoy out there. And
he's going to come into that Jake wanting to bounce him out of that thing.
He's wanting to bust his head
all day.
Yeah, all day. Yeah, he's wanting to bust his head. So he's, it's just a beautiful. Just one of the things, that you got to see in person, which you've seen it. But if anybody's listening that's never turkey hunted, it is awesome to watch. And them birds get out there and you're working them and they're fanning and they're fired up. It is something else. But he, I'm moving around the blind, get situated, full draw, and I put the arrow, and if you've seen the pictures maybe on the post or whatever, but I put the arrow where the wings meet the body. Should hit the body.
Right.
So as soon as I hit this bird, I hear the whack, I'm thinking, hell yeah. As soon as I hit this bird, he jumps up, throws some wings out, and glides off the side of the mountain. Like there was no, it didn't fall, didn't drop, didn't do nothing. It jumped straight up, kicked the wings out, and I just felt defeated, man. We went down there. I looked for 3 hours for this bird, man. Didn't have any luck. I did find some nice mushrooms while we was looking. But I was heartbroken, man. I was heartbroken for sure. For one thing, if anybody's hunting, and I don't care, not to sound sappy or anything like that, but when you lose an animal, man, first thing I'm thinking is, this animal's going to suffer and he's going to die. You know what I mean? He's going to have a slow death. Something's going to eat him. Why? It's just, it's not.
You can't help yourself but to have that thought. I mean, it's something that's going to happen. Unless you're just a heartless asshole and you're just out there to kill things instead of harvest things.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like then you don't have that feeling. But in the same sense, if you're a true hunter, and you're not a heartless dick, like you're just, it's gonna ring with you. It's gonna mess with your conscience. It's gonna resonate, in your head. You're gonna second guess a couple things in life. I mean, it's just gonna be one of those things where it happens. I mean, I did the same thing on one of my first turkeys. You know what I'm saying? Like when I hit that thing with my arrow, I was jacked up out of my mind, man. I sat here, I shot this thing at 42 yards. We ranged it. I was with Jimmy. Funny story. We actually stood up in the blind and held our hands to the roof and moved the freaking blind like we were in some doggone cartoons. We would stand up. We would tippy-toe the blind forward. We would stop. We would stand up. We'd hold the blind up. We'd tippy-toe forward. We'd stop. Yeah, and we moved ourselves from like 65 yards down to like 40 yards. This thing's a couple more of them came out of this corner of this cornfield. And Jimmy and I, we just had we couldn't do it no more. Like Fred Flintstone type shit. We literally pick up the house, run it forward, stop and sit. Right? And I finally, I draw my bow. He's like, calm down, because he could tell that like I'm excited. I draw the bow. He's like, you good? You good? He's like, it's 42. You sure you're only 40? I'm like, I'm good. I let the arrow fly. I hit it. I heard the whack. You know what I mean? Same thing. And it took off running. I looked at him. I was like, I hit it, right? He's like, yeah, you hit it. Like, great shot. Ran into woods, and a couple seconds later, the doggone thing came running back out. And when it came running back out, and I realized, like, it wasn't like limping. It wasn't. I mean, it was like it was running around. My gut, my heart sunk. Literally, my heart sunk. Not only was it my first turkey, it was like my first 40-yard shot. It was my first turkey. I did it with a bow, which is one of the hardest things to do to begin with, right? And then here it goes. Like what you thought was a good shot was not.
Well,
and
you
all of a
picked
sudden, like, oh shit, it just
You picked a tough first time though, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing to harvest your first animal with a bow, whitetail where you got a big, cavity to shoot at, and it's just you picked a turkey. Yeah, I mean that's a lot of pressure, right? Like you said, go ahead.
I wanted to complete, like at that particular time, I was still young and I still am young into bow hunting, but I was still young with the mentality like everything's with my bow. Everything's with my bow. I don't need a gun. You know what I mean? Like I could shoot my bow. I practice all the doggone time. You know what? Like, and I'm just going to say it, like, you can't do everything with your bow. You need a shotgun. You need a rifle. There's certain times where,
shit happens,
for the right
man.
job. Yeah.
There's so many variables, I mean,
there's too many variables sometimes. So like for me, right then and there, it humbled my ass to the point where like, you can be a great bow hunter. You can be all about being a bow hunter, but right tool for the right job. And like using a shotgun for turkey hunting is just something that becomes or should be, part of your repertoire. Should even be somewhat necessary. I mean, I've now come to the realization where I feel as though shotgun should be your first option and your bow should be your backup or secondary option. Like if you have multiple tags, maybe fill your first one with your shotgun and then lead yourself into your bow. To each his own on that one. I'm not going to tell you anybody what to do. If you guys out there who are listening to this, like, are going to sit there and say, you know what? I use my bow for everything. And all the power freaking to you, man. Like, I think that's absolutely awesome. I think it's a good thing, but after going through a couple turkey seasons, after losing one, after shooting a couple, and hell, even with a shotgun, people make mistakes. I mean, I just harvested a turkey yesterday where it was probably the most perfect setup. And also it was the most perfect scenario and yet went completely wrong and then ended up working its way out using a shotgun. So, I mean, like, it's one of those things where you do what's in your comfort zone, but, don't be surprised that if you use your bow and you don't make that perfect shot on that silver dollar sized vital area on the turkey, don't be surprised if you lose that thing or if it goes flying away on you or it just doesn't flop on the ground right then and there.
You're exactly right, man. And that's where I was going. Like, I've been lucky. I got some great equipment to use. Thanks, Bears. Got some really good stuff out there. I'm using great broad. I felt good. I took my practice, before, I did my everything, I felt good about the shot when I let it go. The bird took off. You know what I mean? Like, it was just,
it's a non-vital shot. Yeah, it's a non-vital shot at that point.
Well, even if I run it through that bird's lungs, he gets that. That's why I was saying some guys say they shoot him in the back legs so they don't get that jump. You put them straight on the ground. They can't get that jump to flight. They can't run off. So, like, some guys, when they bow hunt.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
That's not true, though, because, let me. And you know what? That's just going to be the freedom. We'll back and forth this a little bit, but shooting birds in the legs and them not being able to fly away is only partially true. I made a bad shot on a bird. It was a bad shot, which ended up being a good shot. I shot low on my bird at 10 yards yesterday, shot right between the legs. On video, you could see I blew out both the legs completely. And yet still my bird took off and flew 225, almost 230 yards to the opposite end of the doggone field. Yeah, man. We had, so for everyone who saw the post yesterday and saw the post today, I harvested my first big, mature, big son of a gun, almost or just shy of an 11-inch beard, 10 3/4. I got about an inch and a half, inch and quarter spurs. Very Beautiful, matured there. Yeah, me and Grant Putnam from Last Breath TV, and Garrett. Yeah, so the whole idea or concept of shoot him in the legs, especially with the bow. Shooting a turkey leg with a bow or with an arrow is an incredibly hard feat in and of itself. Obviously not impossible. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which, what, I do want to bring this point up though. I do think that if you are going to use a bow, And this is what gave me a little bit more of an open mind as well too when it comes to using your bow and arrow. Is there's always the argument, there's always the conversation, there's always the back and forth of do you use the fixed blade or do you use the mechanical when it comes to bow hunting and turkeys? And I can tell you, I'm a fixed blade person myself. I love fixed blades. I would never use a mechanical on a deer.
Yep.
I just maybe my development will lead me into it one day, but I really like my fixed arrows. But I do think that on turkeys, that a mechanical is not necessarily the worst thing to do. Being the fact that the bow is so small, I do think that there's room for a mechanical. But if you're gonna aim for the legs and you got that little stem with or without a mechanical, if you don't make the perfect shot, the mechanical or fixed, doesn't really matter. So to shoot something that small, you need to be one hell of a freaking shot. This is strictly just my opinion, talking to you about it. But
no, I switched to a mechanical this year after talking with some people and for turkey hunting, and I even shot that bird with a mechanical, and I thought, and like I said, I could have double lunged that bird or hit one lung, and all he does is got to get flight and kick those wings out from the elevation that he come off of. He could coast. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's, and then it's nothing but a thicket down there.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah, I mean, it was just like worst case scenario. You know what I mean? And the things, that's
tough. Man. It's tough. I mean, to watch any animal that you took a shot off run out of your life, fly out of your life is a gut wrenching feeling. And so that leads me into, let's talk about it, right? Let's stay on the topic. I had a turkey hunt yesterday where everybody saw I shot me at the end of the day, I brought me home a beautiful, mature tom. But I also made a bad shot using a shotgun as well. We got set up. I was with Grant Putnam and Garrett Bolkus from Last Breath TV. Shout out to those guys. If you're not following them, go give them a follow. These guys are absolutely incredible. Always willing to help out, and they got just some great content. Usually don't plug anyone on here unless it's well worth it. But I got with these boys, headed down to Southwest Illinois, and Grant and I was down there. I got there Friday night. Got there, we celebrated, went out for dinner, had a couple of drinks, decided to go roost some birds. Got to the farm, made a couple owl calls. We heard the gobbles right off the rip. They were probably from the edge of the cornfield into the timber where we were going to hunt that. We kind of knew where the location was. We threw the owl calls, and we heard several gobbles come back right at us, basically immediately. So we didn't necessarily see them up in the trees, but we roosted them. We knew what we were going to set up. We knew that they were within about 150-ish yards or so. So the following day comes, we get up early. Grant and I head over to the property. Garrett meets us over there. We go to the same cordon where we, roosted them, if you want to call it that, put them to bed at least the night before. And we get set up. We put out the decoys, and we're all ready. Start firing off, gobbling, a little after 5 something in the morning. We start hearing the gobbles. The gobbles start going for a little while. And what I learned from them, too, is because I'm still in the development and learning stages, so everything is intriguing and interesting to me. But they were letting these toms gobble. They were letting them fire off. They weren't really throwing any calls out yet. And I was like, I asked one of them. I said, "You guys going to give a call or whatever?" And they were like, "Yeah, but the hens, you don't want to gobble. You don't want to go right away with the hen calls. You want the gobbles to get fired up, come down, and then hear the hen call so that they chase. You don't want to be right on top.
Yeah, if you do it too early, it doesn't make sense to them. The hens are probably still in the trees too, when they're gobbling at each other in the trees.
And I didn't actually know that. I didn't know that, to be honest with you. So we're sitting there. Yeah, they let off a couple hen calls, and we got gobblers firing off everywhere. We got the two gobblers that we know that we roosted the night before over to our west at that particular time, and they're just firing off. They're going all morning long. Next thing you know, to our north, another gobbler's going off. Then we got one. We think we hear one to the east, but that's on a different. It's through. It's about 600-700 yards away. But we're really focused on the ones to the west that we pretty much roosted the night before. It's two of them for sure that we know of, and they're just hammering. They're going off. They're going off. I'm getting excited. Grant and I are based up at the tree. We got the decoys. We set the decoys up pretty close too. I mean, our decoys are probably about 10, 12 yards away at max. So we don't really hear them swoop down, but they start giving a little bit of calls, and then we can hear them. They're still to our west, but they're more to like the southwest at this particular time. So we realized that they had swooped down, they had come down, they were facing the field that we were in, and that they were going to make a play to start heading over to the field where we were at. So it was we knew that we were in the right position. We knew that we had everything the right way. So sitting there, they're starting to get closer. They're starting to get close, and then all of a sudden we realized that we're hearing a few different gobblers, and we're like, man, there could be a couple of them heading our way. So getting excited, we get ourselves positioned, get your knee up, shotgun up on the knee. Make sure that you're in a comfortable position where you don't need to move because they're fixing to break through the tree line and come out into the field. So
you guys are just based up on a tree. You said you're not in a blind. You guys are based up on a tree. Yeah.
Yeah. No blind. No blind. And so here they come. 1 comes out, 2 comes out, 3 comes out, right into the field. And let me tell you, man, these things walked right up. They saw the decoy, and they never strutted. They put their head down, and they ran right over to this doggone gobbler. And so Grant's like, you ready? You take the one on the left. I'm going to take the one on the right. Now there's 3 of them. So we got the shotguns up. They're coming in. He's like, you good? I'm like, yeah. He's like, you good? I'm like, yeah. He's like, you take the one on the left. I'm going to take the one on the right. I'm like, perfect. The one on the left starts to make its way in front of the middle one. I put my dot right on him, right at the base of the chest, right where I thought I was supposed to be aiming. Pull the trigger. Boom! Don't you know I shoot right through the freaking legs of this doggone thing. Soon as I do that, Grant fires off one at his. Boom! Hits his. Mine takes off to what would be his right, my left. Makes a hard, 90-degree cut. 2 flaps of the wings, and it's up in the air. Grant rechambers one on his, and because his is running away, Grant fires off another one. Boom! His turkey's down, dusted, feathers are everywhere. I rechamber another round. I put the dot on this one that's flying away, take a second shot, nothing. I'm gutted. I completely freaking missed. I watch mine fly off in the air. I see him land at the end of the field, and I don't see him run away because we're looking at Grant's turkey. Like, oh my God, like, holy shit. You're fucking kidding me. I missed the fucking shot, right? So we play back the footage. Yeah, we play back the footage, sure as shit. I put the baseball pattern right through the leg, but we realized it looked like I might have broke the leg. So we're sitting there. Grant does his post-interview because this is all being filmed. He does his post-interview, puts his tag on his, and we're like, well, kind of gutted a little bit. Well, remember we heard the turkeys to the north. So we're like, well, let's just change positions. And I'm gutted. I'm like, these boys open up the field for me. Like, they put me in the perfect scenario. They put me on big fucking toms. Like, and I blew it. So all of a sudden, after doing the post-interview, we're in the middle of the doggone field in the corner. Here goes the
That kind of goes back to what we were talking about. I ain't trying to cut you off, but that kind of goes back to like what we was talking about, which just wasn't a guided hunt. But, when you go with a buddy, the pressure of doing it yourself. Remember we was talking about boots on ground? Yeah. I mean, that's what.
So we're sitting there, and all of a sudden a gobbler goes firing off. Can't be about 100 yards away, probably closer. We all look at each other. No one said a freaking word. We literally drops his on the tree line. At the same time, almost simultaneously, we all just masked right back up. We all turned to 180 and literally sat right back down in the same position. And Grant's like, calm down, relax. You're going to get a second chance. So we're sitting there, and all of a sudden, Grant sits up. I can tell something ain't right. Grabs his binos, sits like perches up real quick, puts his binos down range. Second later, gets up on his knees. His bino in down range. He's like, y'all see that? Garrett and I are like, nah, bro. What are you talking about? He's like, y'all didn't see that down there. We're like, nah. He stands up. Now, mind you, there's a gobbler 60, 80, 70 yards of the tree line. We know that's making its way towards us. What are you doing standing up, right? So sure as shit, he's like, let's go. He goes, there's something down there. Let's go. And Garrett's kind of looking at him like, bro, like, now if there was a gobbler here, you just screwed it. Like we're done with this hunt, right? So we chamber one. We start walking down the field, dude, and we make it about 250 doggone yards to the other end of the tree line. And sure as shit, wouldn't you know, that turkey that flew off in the air is in the doggone high grass. He had just so happened to see one of the last flaps of the wing from his position, and just the bird was dying. Come to find out, broke both legs, 2 BBs in the chest, and I killed my first freaking Tom, dude. But
that's awesome.
I thought I missed it. I was gutted. It was horrible, but
you talk about emotional roller coaster. You know what I'm saying? Like
crap,
an ultimate low to an extreme high. That's so cool. Yeah, that's awesome, man.
So, but it happens, man. Like, you know, you miss, you recover, you have highs and lows, and you know what? That's why we hunt. This is what we do it for. I wouldn't say it's what we do it for, but if you're not ready to have this part of your experience, if you're not ready and prepared to have these emotional up and downs, if you're not okay with having this type of stuff happen to you, the highs and lows, the extremes,
stay in the house.
You're in the wrong freaking industry. You're in the wrong sport. So, but
stay in the house,
yeah, man. That's so Mark and
but that's the same with, you know, that's the same, like you said, I was so low on a Kentucky hunt, you know, and I went out, dude, I hunted a bunch, which I took a break in there. We went to a lake to do I took my boy on his first fishing trip. So that kind of lifted my spirits. You know, I was pretty beat up, man. I couldn't harvest the bird. I wasn't having no luck. You know, I hunted the farm there, and, you know, just wasn't many birds on the farm at the time. And it was just nothing with, you know, I had gobblers around, but they just, you know, they weren't closing, you know, which I kind of learned to myself to be more patient, you know, instead of pushing the birds. You know, if you get a gobbler gobbling at you, what I learned a lot this year is don't overcall him. Make him curious. You know, curiosity, killed the cat. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, well, curiosity killed the Tom too, because that's what I learned. That's what I learned, man. Be easy, patient. Tickle them. You know, give them just enough, like tickle their fancy, make them curious. You know, and decoy setup had a lot to do with it too. You know what I mean? So
it does, definitely. So that's what, you know, and it was just like everything happened perfect, man. I got out. You know, I wasn't even going to get up. I felt defeated, man. I was about to just say, hell, you know, I'm just going to fish. I ain't even going to worry about the turkey hunt no more this year. I decided to go out on my birthday. It all worked perfect, man. It was like it was meant to be. It was my birthday morning. I wasn't even going to get up and go. Something told, you know, it's just one of the feelings like, you know, I got to get out there and do it. You know, I'm running out of time. It's just one of the things. I'm going to go. So I get out there. I set the decoys out. You know, I get all set up. And I'm actually in a blind again. I had a blind set up back on the farm. And which you know, to each his own. Sometimes I'll hunt out of a blind. Sometimes I'll hunker down next to a tree. You know, it's whatever. But I was actually in a blind this morning. And I start to call and nothing, you know, didn't have any gobbles on the roost really. I'm thinking, you know, it's going to be one of them mornings again. Well, then all of a sudden, man, I get one just cutting loose. And I thought, okay, he's on the ridge next to me. And I thought, okay, I guess something, you know, and he sounds pretty close, you know, and he's hammering. About 30 minutes. I'm being real, you know, at this point, after the experience I've had this year, I'm being real sensitive with him. You know, I'm not really overcalling him. I'm just trying to work the bird, you know, as easy as possible. It's getting later in the season, for one thing. Birds get educated, you know. I mean, that's, you know, they get call shy, everything like that. So I'm barely trying to call. You know, 30 minutes go by. He doesn't sound like he's getting any closer. You know, I think I even looked down at my phone. I'm sitting there like, all right, this is going to be another one of them mornings. You know, and I was pressed for time that morning. I actually had my daughter's first communion. I had to get out of the blind, you know, so I didn't have much time to even hunt, you know, and I'm thinking.
It's almost par for the course. It's usually how that almost always happens. Last minute, last moment, stress, time, all these variables are going.
Oh, it was too perfect. Right?
Yeah.
Too perfect, man. So I get to calling and nothing. I'm looking at my phone. I'm sitting there. Don't have much, going on. I'm thinking, well, I guess about another 30 minutes I'll wrap it up. And I look up and I got two gobblers, which I don't know about aging birds. It's just something I don't really do. I see some guys, but they weren't mature birds. I think it had like a 9.5, 10-inch beard, something like that. Maybe low 20s on pounds. An inch spurs, but I was thrilled. I mean, I'm not complaining. I would, at that point, if it was a Jake, he was getting popped. You know what I mean? Like I wanted some turkey meat. I didn't even care, man.
Yeah, you need to break that streak. You need to break that streak, brother. You need to just put one down at that point. That's that whole thing. If it's brown, it's down. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. No, that's where I was at, man. That's where my mindset was at. So, luckily I looked up, man. He's, I got a pair of them actually. And it wasn't a gobbler. I had that gobbler gobbling too. Which I'm sure he was probably the old mature bird, but I wasn't waiting on him. And as soon as I got a shot, dude, I put that bead right on his head and it was over. I mean, he hit the ground, then, wasn't no chasing this bird, wasn't
barrel rolled him is what you did.
You barrel rolled him. He was done, man. There was nothing left, I mean, it was, and I didn't give him it's crazy because I had my bag and I guess I took my shells out of the bag. I get all the way back here in the blind that morning. I got so much going on. My mind's not really on it. I'm digging through my bag. I thought I left all my shells at the house. And I thought, oh, are you kidding me, man? Luckily, I found one shell in the bottom of that bag, man. I swear to you, I can't make it up. And I
didn't know that part. You didn't tell me about that part, bro. You had one shell with you?
I had one shell with me, man. And I was like, look, that's all I need.
Crazy.
Yeah. Hey, I was like, that's it. I ain't walking all the way back. I'm set up. Yeah, I said, that's all I need.
And so for y'all that don't know Mark too well, Mark can sometimes be a little distracted with a lot of things going on. You know what I mean? So this doesn't fully surprise me to a certain degree.
No, not at all. It's like I always got a lot going on, man. So yeah, it's so I mean, it was just one of them crazy things, man. And luckily,
and you were by yourself, right?
I'm by myself. Yeah, I'm by myself. And I get out there and call the bird. Shoot it. As soon as the trigger goes off, I see the bird hit the ground. I run out of the blind, man. I ain't giving him a second. I run out of the blind. I put my foot on its head. I'm thinking, you ain't going nowhere. It's flopping around, But I wasn't giving it a second. I mean, it was.
Nah, man, that excitement.
Oh, and it was the weight off my shoulders was great, man. It was a great feeling. That's what I mean. Like, so anybody out there that's hunting and they get, they have bad hunts and they feel down and they're about to quit and, stick it out because that emotional roller coaster is worth it, man. I mean, that feeling of accomplishment is uncomparable.
Yeah, it pays off, man. It's you got to put your time in, man. You got to put and you guys are going to hear us say this on the podcast hundreds of times to the point where you guys start saying it or you're sick of hearing it. But facts are facts, man. You got to put boots on the ground. You got to just keep being out there, keep putting the work in, stay dedicated, stay motivated, because there's a reason, man. In my first season, I had a couple people tell me this, and they couldn't have been any more truer. And a lot of you guys who've been doing this for a long time have known this, but this is something that resonates with me every day, whether I'm even hunting or I'm not, but more so when I am out there. You're out there to hunt. You're not out there to kill. Killing is something that happens when you have a successful hunt, but you are out there hunting. So you just can't give up. You just got to stay the course. You can't give up. You got to grind. Good days are going to happen. Bad days are going to happen. But the bad's going to outweigh the good a lot of times when it comes to hunting. Not even the bad. It's just the amount of times that you don't harvest is going to outweigh the times that you harvest. Unless you have 100%. Just a perfect setup, which is a very rare and few and far between type of atmosphere. But for your general typical guy,
Right. And even at that, the perfect setup consists of a lot of work. You know what I'm saying?
The work that goes into that is a whole nother episode, because that's something where, like, what I learned from watching these guys last Spread TV, these guys, they have properties where, and I don't want to give away too much of whatever, but I know that they wouldn't mind me saying this, but they have properties where they put multiple years of development and work into being able to harvest the animals that they do. But exactly. I mean, years of work and management, basically. So, but
hats off to them, man. That's great. Their hard work's paying off, man.
Of course, but at the end of the day, Mark and I were successful on our spring turkey season. It just was a little bit of a roller coaster of emotions between all the hunts. I had to wait all the way until yesterday, which was May 7th, 8th, or something like that. I don't even know what the date is, to be honest with you. But I had to wait till 5th season in Illinois to be able to get my hunt in. So I'm already a week plus into May. So I had to sit there and watch everybody get their April hunt, their May hunt.
Oh, yeah. You've been watching people just over and over,
Oh, it's killing me.
Yeah.
Oh, it was killing me. It sucked. It was absolutely brutal. Almost everybody I know had a turkey before I even had an opportunity to go freaking get one. But nonetheless, we got one. Congratulations. Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you. Congratulations, buddy. Yeah, it worked out perfect, man. It's a great.
It's like turkey hunting, man.
You couldn't. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have wrote the script any better. On my birthday and everything. It was just. Yeah, it was. God's good, man.
Yeah, so. Turkey hunting is a it's a beast in and of itself.
Right, and that's one thing that I'll never claim to be. It was just one of them things. It's one. It's. There's different animals that I can hunt better. I mean, it's just.
Yeah.
And I'm learning more and more about turkey hunting. I haven't done it a whole lot, to be honest with you. I mean, I've done it. I've harvested a few birds, but I've, like I got a buddy. I ain't gonna throw no names out there, but him, his kid, his wife, his dad, they kill turkeys every year. I mean, he's just the dude is a great turkey hunter. You know what I'm saying? Like he knows how to work a bird. He knows how to do it. And I learn a lot listening to people like that. It definitely helps me out.
I do too. I look at myself as a deer hunter who enjoys the turkey hunt, but I'm not going to focus all my effort all year long waiting to go get that one spring turkey. I'm a deer hunter at heart. I am. Oh, that's my forte. That's what I study. That's what I enjoy. But I'm not going to miss an opportunity to go shoot a turkey. I mean, hell no.
So that kind of brings me to the random question of the day, Alan.
Oh yeah, so we have a segment that we're going to bring to you guys here on our Journey to the Hunt podcast, right? So a couple guys, they do something like this in their podcast. So Mark and I were trying to toy with the idea of what we wanted to do because it's just a fun concept. So we're going to bring to you guys the random question of the day. Now this question could be anything hunting related, life related, family related, politic related, and whatever the fuck we want to ask is what's going to be asked.
Yeah, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised.
Yeah. So, all right, let's do it, buddy.
To start it off, just to get it out there, what is your dream hunt? Out of any hunt you could hunt in the world, it doesn't have to be North America. Any game, anything.
That's too easy. I want a moose hunt. I want a moose hunt with my bow, and that's my dream hunt. That's it. I want a moose hunt. I don't care if it's in Maine, Canada, Alaska. The area. I think Alaska, ideally, when you think of moose hunting, is like the most picturesque. Like one that everyone kind of like envisions themselves going to is the Alaska one, but. I'm from the Northeast, man. There's some moose up in Maine. I know there's moose in Canada.
There's some monster moose in Maine.
Yeah, so I don't care where I get my moose in, but mine is moose hunting, 100%. I want to throw my arrow, because you're not shooting through a moose. That's for damn sure. But I want to arrow a moose, and I want to hike it out. I want to ruck it out. I want to spend a couple of days doing it. But moose hunting is. Absolutely, like that. That will be my pinnacle. 100%. That'll be my pinnacle. Elk is cool. All these other animals are cool, but moose is something that I yearn for, and I cannot wait for the day that I get the opportunity to throw an arrow at a moose. I really can't. So, well, my turn to ask you at this particular point. Random question of the day, and I actually been thinking about this one. So I know. So for you guys that follow Mark and know Mark is real big into waterfowl hunting, goose hunting. He loves it. He's got spreads out. He does it all year long. He's got the dogs for it. He's got everything like that. So here's my random question to you. Would you give up deer hunting to waterfowl hunt the rest of your life, or would you give up waterfowl hunting to shoot just deer? But the deer that you shoot are all 130, 140 claps and above.
So you can't do this to me. You can't do this to me, man. Yeah. Man, you're dividing me here. So, it's tough question to answer. Damn, it's tough question to answer. It's deer hunting that was my first passion. You know what I'm saying? Like it was the first thing I was ever passionate about. I started hunting deer with a bow before I hunted anything. Strictly bow hunting. That was, it just what caught my attention, and it was, man. But it's, man. I'm going to go with, I'm going to have to go with deer hunting, man.
You'd give up bird hunting?
The thing that's great about bird hunting is the camaraderie, man. I mean, that's the difference between deer hunting and bird hunting. Most of the time you're in a stand by yourself, and that's a great thing. But after, the 30th hunt of the year or whatever, you're getting kind of, it just becomes kind of monotonous sometimes, especially if the deer aren't working like they should be. And it's just, now let's, would I give up deer hunting? Deer hunting in the rut is, I don't know if I would, I don't know if I could give up deer hunting in the rut.
Yeah, man. You know what? The rut hunting is what everybody lives for. I mean, that's the pinnacle of deer hunting. That's what everybody wants to get themselves involved in. I mean, I know people who don't hunt early season or late season, or if they're hunting, they definitely don't do early season. They literally just do rut hunting, and then they'll go do like late season doe management or something like that. So, the rut is that's it. That's the pinnacle. That's everything that everybody wants to be part of when it comes to deer hunt. And if you're going to say otherwise, you're freaking crazy, or you know what? I don't know if I believe you, because nobody's thinking about, I just want to get the early season, buck that isn't all swole up, that isn't all, on the rut chasing does. Nobody just wants to see the random buck walk by on October 1st. I mean, not that you wouldn't take the doggone thing, but come on now. If you're going to sit there and tell me that you're not waiting for the rut, crazy. So, but bird hunting, I understand too, because, I see these videos of like these cyclones of thousands and thousands of birds coming down, and everybody just letting off these shells.
Yeah,
bang, 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 bang. Sounds like a doggone freaking war zone going off. And like, there's excitement there too, but hunting the rut is what we wait for,
Yeah, I mean, I would have to tell and I love the bird hunt, like you said. Where I bird hunt at, it's not like that with the cyclones and stuff. So that's where I kind of weigh it. What I look forward to bird hunting is, obviously eating the ducks, the camaraderie. And since I've started hunting with a dog, that's the best thing about it. Watching my dog work, man, that's a bonding thing that you can't replace.
Yeah, that changes.
You're bonding with that animal like you can't in any other way. You create a relationship with this animal that.
So let's be clear. Let's be clear of this answer because we got a little sidetracked here. We got a little off the beaten path somewhat. Like your answer was you'd stick with deer hunting. Yeah.
Bow hunting the rut. Yeah. Where I can rattle to them. A lot of action, big bucks, sound like bulls coming through the woods, man.
That's just the fuck I'm talking about, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
So, it's always fun chatting, man. We gotta always wrap these up at some point because it's one of those ones where we can do 6-hour long podcasts and we're not Joe Rogan at this point. And we got some great guys behind us
we can
do the editing for us. Shout out to Jason. We want to thank him for always doing what he does. But let's give this one a wrap up and we can continue on some of these topics down the road. But once again, Mark, man, let everybody know where they can find you, what you got working, what you got coming up next, and what have you. Let them know.
Yeah, you can check me out there on Instagram at, just Mark_Newman, Newman Family Farms on Facebook. You always got our Journey to the Hunt page on Facebook. Check out the podcast, obviously subscribe. The YouTube channel Alan's over there on. Thanks, Jason, again. Next month, hopefully I'll see you out there. We'll be headed out to Homewood Ski Resort with Team Whiskey. Just a reminder on that. You can get some raffle. They're raffling all kind of great things off. There's a bear bow getting raffled off. They got a few other big raffles going on. You can go check them out. Hit the link in their page. Kevin and them are great guys, but we'll be out there hopefully, coming live from Lake Tahoe, me and Alan. So hopefully I can get him out there with me.
That's the plan, brother. We're gonna work towards that. So, but yeah, guys,
I appreciate you, Alan. No, I appreciate it. Man.
You know that
it's always good.
And you guys know where to find me at Alan__Yates on Instagram. Find the Journey to the Hunt Facebook page. We got them all linked. Mark and I run the Facebook page together, so there's always someone that's responding. If you guys want any topics, any ideas, any guest ideas or anything that you guys want to throw out there, feel free to leave it in the comment section. Definitely go subscribe to, the YouTube page. YouTube page. We're on Spreaker, we're on iTunes, we're on Spotify, we're on all major platforms at this point. So go give it a follow and stay tuned. I got one more turkey hunt under my belt. I've had to Michigan in 2 more weeks. Late season turkey hunting up in Michigan, which is definitely not the easiest thing to do at all. And but we're gonna get out there and get after it. Lord. Yeah, definitely. I'm
late season, anything. Yeah, anything late season, man.
And then we're gonna switch gears. We're gonna get into getting prepped for deer hunting. We're gonna start doing the food plots, working the land, and getting together. But yeah, guys, stay tuned. Again, if anyone's out there looking for a mentorship program or an apprentice program, a mentor program, go listen to the previous podcast that we had with Team Whiskey, guys, or go check out the link at Team Whiskey because if you need some help, there's help out there for everybody. So once again, we want to thank you all for listening to another one of the podcasts here. And,
not to fun, not to just throw a last thing in there, but Journey to the Hunt, that's what, I think that's what this is all about is to get people in the woods, get people out there. So
it is, you guys. And if you guys have any questions on where to get started, how to get started, or know somebody who wants to get started, who doesn't know where to begin, how to begin, definitely reach out to us. We're more than willing to help. Give you your phone numbers, give us our pages, whatever it takes to get any of y'all out in the woods and enjoying the beautiful land that we hunt and the animals that we do it with. So once again, thanks, Mark. Appreciate you. And it's been another great episode of Journey to the Hunt podcast, y'all. Y'all stay tuned for the next one.